church and family.
I certainly will. My name's Roy. I've been coming to this church since 2003, and that's 23 years ago, where far from where I thought I'd ever would have been at a church. Growing up wasn't the best, so I was always in trouble and never really sort of towed the line or did everything. So I can virtually put hand on heart and say I was one of the original football hooligans that used to go, have fights and get drunk and do so many stupid things. That all changed. Obviously got married, did loads of other things. Got married in 1990, had 2 kids, and then always had an inkling that I wanted to chauffeur drive. So I left a secure job at Sainsbury's, went invested money in this company only for it to be taken over by somebody else. So there I find myself with not a job and 2 kids, and then the icing on the cake was my wife told me, she said she was pregnant again. I thought, oh, here we go. 40 years old and going to be a dad and do everything else. Oh, we'll get through this. Some things didn't happen. Things just snowballed out of control with what I did. And we come to a stage about 2003 where it was all getting a bit too much. So I decided that it was best that rather than people telling me how useless I was going to kill myself. Otherwise, I've made my mind up. That's what I want to do. So I got in my car and I drove, I don't know if ever you know, Kingsclear Hill, up in Kingsclear, which is now the Wessex, sort of South Downs, they call it. So I parked my car at the top of the hill and had all the sad music playing. This is what we're going to do. Bottle of scotch, some painkillers. I'll take all them and I'll just take the handbrake off the car and it'll go down the hill and that'll be done. Sitting there, a woman was walking her dog. She come up, she tapped on my. She said, all right. I went, no, not really. She said, whatever's the matter? I said, just things. She said, I've seen many people do, but I think you're contemplating. And she says, just think of the people you're leaving behind. It's not worth it. So she took my car keys. So I'm just walking my dog. I'll be back. And I went, whatever, just sat there, minding my own business, got the radio on, and on my passenger door. Who's that? It's the woman with the dog. Chap gets in my car. I've been trying to find you. He said, you're an hard person to find. I went, who the hell are you? Get out of my car. And he went, I've got a message for you. I said, don't really care. He said, get out. And he went, like a post-it note. And he went, put it on my dashboard. And I went, whoever you, I said, you need to go. Well, I've got to go and save somebody else. What on earth's that all about? So I'm sitting there, so I looked at the thing. What's that say? Jeremiah 29 verse 11 about God's got a plan for me. And I thought, well, somebody's messing about. So I just sat there and I thought, I'm not sure what really we're going along. And then the lady's come back. And I'm standing outside the car park then, and she goes, whatever's the matter? I go, did you see the chap that was just by my car? She went, I brought the dog down from the top of the hill. There's nobody been near your car. And I went, no, somebody, this is, no. She said, whatever it is, she said you was going to do, she said, I would say by your demeanour now that you're not going to do what you was going to do. And I went, what's gone on? She said, you've had a visitor. And I went, what? She said, oh yeah, you had an angel, she said, come down and spoke to you. And I went, yeah. I said, is this a route? I said, you working in tandem that you just save people? She said, I've walked and there's been nobody there. And I said, I showed it to her. She said, oh yeah. I said, what's that mean? I said, well, I don't do church, I don't do anything. Well, she said, how are we going to do this? She said, can I put my dog in your car? And she drove my car back down to her house. And then she phoned my wife's sister Karen and said, he's safe and everything else and all that and everything, but the car's going to be there. He drove me back into Basingstoke. and we went down by Worthing Church, and he stopped. I said, "Can I get out?" And he said, "God bless you, do what you want to do." And I went, "Oh, this is stupid." And I went and sat outside Worthing Church. And Jeremy, who was pastor of the church, the vicar, he come out of his thing and he said, "Somebody told me somebody was sitting outside my church." And I went, "No," I said, "this is all getting crying." He said, "No, it's Roy, isn't it?" And I went, "Do you know who I am?" He said, "You're from the church. Your wife goes to the church, doesn't she?" And I went, "Yeah." "Well, let's have a look." And I showed him the Bible verse, and it's written in my Bible, because the first time I got the Bible, the first time I've written it, and it says in the Bible about it, Jeremiah 29 verse, it says, "For I know the plans I have with you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, and plans to give you hope in the future. Then you will call upon me and come and pray with me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me, and when you seek me with all your heart, I will fulfill all your promises that I've declared to you, declares the Lord." And that's was sort of resonated with me. Obviously, I came to church, left it and thinking, yeah, that's a complete lot of rubbish. I'm not bothering. And but I got several sort of intercessions with people that were saying, "You really need to go to church. Really need to go to church, because that's something that's quite miraculous has happened." You know, "No, I don't want to go." And I came to church, and the church was the old way round, and you walked in the back door, and I poked my head in. I had just about as much hair as I got now, and I had my football shirt on, and I went and sat at the very back, because people said, "You dare not come to my church," she said, "don't you spoiling it." And I sat there, and Megan Thatcher came and spoke with me, and then somebody, Vivica Hill, come and spoke to me and said, "Don't sit at the back." And then Sharon Davis come, and they brought me to my wife's face was a picture. She went, "You promised me," she shouted at me, and I went, "I'm only doing what I think's right." And did an Alpha course, got to know Will, got to know everybody at the church, done so many things since then, and still on, I think, the journey. Like he says, the plans are coming to fruition with what I need to do and how I need to interpret what I should do. Still had some hard luck stories, lose both my parents and then a cousin in consecutive years. And we just had some news that my brother has got a bad liver complaint, that they can't do anything else for him, so he's got about 4 months to live, which is another one you think you take and go, anything else going to crop up. But praying and through it, he's had a 3-year extension anyway with how things have gone with treatment, so that's a blessing. I've been to see him, and he's quite reserved to what it is and everything else. But I challenge anybody to think, and people says, "Oh, yeah, great church, it's all happy," like I used to think. That's so far removed from where it is that it's a comfort to know him and do him. I've pestered Sarah and done about 6 or 7 Alpha courses and helping other people, and still learning and still doing. We're going to start by doing it again. And if my story helps anybody, that for somebody who is lost, somebody who feels that you want to take your own life, no matter how bad you get and how low you get, I think God's at the bottom of somewhere, and then he lifts you up and shows you the light, and you can begin to take things into perspective and how you do everything. And worst thing my wife said I did was I bought this Bible. She bought it for me, put all the tabs in it, and I started colouring the verses that were appropriate to me. And we're still on the journey, and I do hope, now I'm retired, that I can do a lot more, help a lot more people, and we're waiting for the next chapter and see where we go. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Has anyone got any questions for us? Anyone got any?
Had Stuart been born by the
Yeah,
time he brought
yeah.
to
Yeah, Stuart was born in '99,
Yeah.
and the job finished, and I had to come and tell her, and I said, we've been bought out and they've got no room. And so we struggled to do. Pippa came more to church, and I was just resenting everything on a Sunday. Just get out of the house, just get out of the house. Tried to work it, and it didn't.
Because you lost your home, didn't you?
Yeah.
You had a mortgage and a house.
Yeah.
You lost that, so you've been through that. At what stage did Pippa find her faith then?
I
A few
think
years before you?
I think she started coming with Karen about 97, 98, because things were just getting so bad, and it was like a toxic that was going on. There was so much bad thingy going on that, well, you done all this, maybe everybody's right that you are useless. You know, how could you leave a job? I had my dad telling me, well, you've just done it, and everything, and everybody was having their sort of 10 pence of telling me how bad I was, and I thought to myself, maybe I am bad then. Maybe I am this horrible self-conceited person that only looks after myself, and maybe that's right. And that's what got into my head of thinking, oh, I'll do them all a favour then, if I'm that bad. But I'm glad I didn't, because been able to sort of achieve quite a few bits. I'm saying to Rachel, I've been to Kenya. I went with Steve Machel. We went out to Kenya, and I gave my testimony to a prison of 150 prisoners. Went to Moldova and did the same. Went to a rescue centre there and went to India with Mark Thomas and gave all the testimony to all these other people. And when I look back at it and think, from where I was to where I am, and the bits are in between, have been quite remarkable what I've done. But sometimes I do forget.
And
but
it gets hard sometimes. You still have things that lie through at you, don't you?
Yeah. With mum and dad and everything. But 3 years, 2022 was my mum, then my dad, then my cousin. And I spoke to eulogy for my cousin down in Newquay, and did it all, and everybody said, oh, it was really good. And I stood outside, and it had been raining, but then the sun was out, and I just asked, I looked up to him, I said, what have I done to deserve all this? You know, I prayed to you, I asked you for things, and all I'm getting is people dying and people doing this. And obviously then we've had the likes of Vic, who I work with, do the lorries to go to a man. I worked with Vic for 5-6 years doing that. He then passes away. Then I got this bit with my brother, and I'm thinking, it's all said to try me, but I think through what I read in this, that I'm still here. I'm still been able to contribute to do what people want. And if I can help people, that'll be, I think I've done. I don't know what it'd say on my tombstone. Here's somebody who tried, and everything, but I think all the wording would have changed now. And a friend told me that. He said, you do more than what you think you do. In the way you do it, you interpret things and you help people without even knowing it. So if it can help other people.
You've got lovely children. Emma's part of this group. She wasn't able to be here today. The little girl's not well.
She said I'd cry again. She said, because when you told me before, and she said I wouldn't be able to come down. And also our granddaughter's been ill. But she said, well, now it's been recorded, she can,
and Tom's
she
part
can listen.
of the church as well, isn't he? And Steph, and we just got to pray for Stuart now, haven't we?
Yeah. he's work in progress, but I'm sure we'll get there. And you just have to, I think we're in the darkest times where I've been, I've always picked the Bible up and think, where did I write? What did I put? And it's something about him lifting us up and him, you know, rely on him. Don't let the little person in your head, don't let him downstairs start influencing what you want to do, because he's like that and our God's as big as this. So that's it. Any other questions?
What would you say to someone that I know that, say, you know, you said about football hooliganism and stuff like that. Someone that, or people, it's not just one person I know, that people that are struggling with addiction or fighting, as you say, or aggression and stuff like that, and they're saved, and then they have a relapse or something like that.
It never, I say, I can't take what I did and some of the stuff that I did. I'm just so of how I was, you know. I got in with people that owed money. You'd go around and threaten them. If they didn't pay their money, they'd get sorted out and stuff like that. And when you think addictions are quite a thing, when you say to people, oh, if it's drugs or if it's smoking or if it's very hard for them to see anything above the addiction, anything. And it's like staring at, it's like being in the bottom of a pool, swimming pool. I don't know, somebody said to me when I first started, I said to somebody, how do you feel? I said, I feel as if I'm on a swimming pool and I'm treading water and I haven't got that to get myself out of the water, but through speaking to people and anything, yeah, you're sort of controlled by what you think and you don't think there's a better way. Oh no, I'm addicted to this. I think seek help, you know, speak to people, speak to other people that are in the same predicament. I went to a boys' school with Bob Smith from the Wessex Church, and they were like young lads that were in trouble and everything else. And I sat and spoke with 3 or 4 of them. How did you get there? Well, I followed what my brothers had done, and I followed the wrong people and everything else. You've got a chance to change it, and you can change it. It ain't easy. And everybody says, oh, everybody being a Christian, it's brilliant, it's wonderful. You still get the rough times, but with help and with church and everything. And I always think with Sarah, if you ever needed any prayer, Sarah would be the one that says, there you go. And you start feeling better. You start feeling, you think, maybe there is something to it. But it's quite easy to go back to what you do and how you are, but through
and
it
comes to the point of like we do all need each other, don't we?
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to be part of a church community, even if you can't come on a Sunday, but that you can reach out, because we've all got different gifts. This is what came up on our course last night. We've all got different gifts, so if we try and do it on our own, we're not accessing all that God has for us.
No.
So I know that I do have a gift for praying for people.
There's
if I decided not to come to church, then that's withholding that gift, isn't
there's
it?
a much
That kind of thing.
I think that there's a much bigger picture, but you've got to open your eyes to it. You've got to be with it 100% in your heart, because you're half-hearted with it and you're praying. And I always think he looks down on me, and when I've prayed, I've gone, what was that rubbish? Sorry about that. And I'll pray again as if to say, that was whingy and white. Oh, I really want the lottery numbers, but I don't seem to. But proper prayers that you pray, and all of a sudden, you know, my brother hates it. My brother's never been a church person and never will. And I prayed for him when I was down with him on Thursday, and he said, don't start doing all your with me and everything. I said, I'm going to pray for you because you're my brother. If you don't like it, well, that's... And he was sitting in his thing with his oxygen bottle on, and he went to me, if I could get up, I said, well, come on then, take your oxygen off and get up. But his wife's going, don't antagonise. And I'd say, because you can't, can you? I said, so I'm going to pray. And, you know, it's like a time bomb. I said, he's had a 3-year extension. And with that, it's like, because it goes every year and he's still here, you get into a false sense thinking, well, he's always going to be here. And when he had the results, it's, oh, well, this is it, brother. He went to me, this is it. And I went, well, yeah, once all the medication starts wearing off and everything else. And I think through that and through speaking and having prayer with people, I can see where he's coming from. But it's the people you're going to leave behind that will do. And he said to me, quite funny, because we were laughing, he said, well, I'll leave you to change the world then. I went, what, me by myself? He said, well, yeah. He said, you can't do a worse job than what everybody else is doing. And I went, okay, well, that's what, yeah, I'll leave that with, and I'll change everything for people. And then I said, well,
yeah. That's almost like a little small mustard seed of him saying, you're doing good, I can see you're doing good, but he's stubborn in himself that he's not.
So we need to pray for him. What's his name?
Dave.
Because the best healing would be if he does find God before he goes, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So that he can have peace in the process and know where he's going.
Yeah.
So Dave, then we need to
Yeah. So yeah. Anything else? Can I enlighten everybody else, make everybody else feel better? But through all the stuff, people say, how do you get up there? Well, I have to. Oh, I can't give up. Because if I give up, that's somebody else is winning.
You've tasted enough, as the Bible says, taste and see that the Lord is good. And although your life hasn't been perfect since coming to faith,
I keep saying now when I'm praying, I'm saying, I read about about you say when you pray, I'm going to give you this. I'm saying, right, the bigger prayers are coming out now, and it's more direct and it's more how I feel and more sort of thoughtful.
God wants our honesty, doesn't he? And sometimes it is having a bit of a rant, isn't it? But then it's good to, like you say, rein yourself back in and say, but you're God, you're in control. I surrender.
It's always said, it's always been, where are you, throughout it, where are you wandering off to now? Where are you going? You're going to try and do it yourself. And I've tried 2 or 3 months, and then I come back and everything else, and I'll sit and pray, and he looks down and go, oh, there you are. Was it any better where you went? No, it wasn't, was it? So let's just continue to pray, continue to benefit from it.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Ron.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Did you go on antidepressants? Did you go on antidepressants? Did you go on antidepressants?
Yeah. Yes, I was on that, made me like a zombie.
Yeah. Did they give you counselling as well?
No. And they're just, I know he's got something, and I keep thinking, well, come on then, I'm praying now, and I'm asking more, and I'm saying, come on then, where's this that I'm supposed to, where is it? I'm going to keep asking you. And obviously, then doing that, then the news, and then I thought, well, no, we've been anticipating over the 3 years, but then I thought, well, at least I know now, and my brother, and we know that it's coming. So
you do go help with a support group as well,
yeah,
don't you?
yeah,
Men, which is really good.
Yeah.
On a
Monday nights,
evening,
tough enough to care. It's called. It's that. It's
some information before you go. I'd like to get some information from you about that. I think that might be.
We meet on a Monday evening down the Roger Morris Centre down in Eastrop.
Okay, fantastic.
We meet between 7:30 and 9, but now it goes 9:15, 9:30, 9:45, because you just get people.
Some really good friendships there.
Oh yeah. So it's really good. Really good.
Is that a space for men?
Yeah.
That have gone through a similar situation?
Yeah. And you'll be surprised when people come and they peer their head and they go, like that, you go, oh, good evening. Is this the, yeah. It's so
amazing.
We can talk about people's, and people have said that have found and said, I've had more help in the time I've come down and spoke with a group of people than going to a doctor, getting somebody in and speak to them and saying, oh. There's one chap who's come down, he's a recovering alcoholic. And he said, you give me more how I want to be than a doctor or a person that's saying, how do you feel today? How are you doing? Well, I'm doing lousy actually. And he said, and it's keep taking the tablets and keep doing this. And it's just
So
unbelievable.
it'd be good if there was opportunities there to talk about the Lord. wouldn't it?
Yeah,
What time is it on? Sorry.
we're there from 7:30
30.
till 9 o'clock.
Yeah. And if you don't mind, can I take your number?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
and we'll.
Oh,
And
praise.
I felt
Yeah, we're friends.
I found that I could with them when I went, because I was struggling a bit. And Dave, who came to Alfred, was sitting there, and I always mess about. I thought, he's got a football shirt on. And I was going to ask him, when I've read it, it said, tough enough to care in it. I went, have you been sitting there all this time over the 7 weeks that we've been coming? He went, yeah. I went down once, I sat in the car and I chickened out and I couldn't go in. Then I got to the door and I thought, no, I can't do it. So I spoke with him and said, look, I'm going to need you holding my hand. And he said, whatever it does for you, went down there, this and sat there. I didn't say anything first week, just people went. Then the second week, I got a little bit, and I gave him my story about where we've been and helping everybody else. So it's good.
I think
It's
that's fantastic. I think there's a lot of men in this town
Oh, yeah.
that could really benefit from your testimony, that you could help set free. So it's amazing.
It's somebody says it's a macho thing, it's a man thing. My dad was old school. My sons don't cry, you don't show emotion. Man up and do everything.
But I think I'm so pleased you said that, because what is happening to our male is that because of that mentality, they will not be vulnerable to their children or to their spouses or in any setting where there has been hurt. I'm a man, you know. I'll do that. And there's nowhere where it says in terms of our emotions we shouldn't express that we're hurting.
That's a lot of it now.
That we don't know what is the right thing to do in the situation. So it's so lovely that you've been vulnerable enough to come and give your testimony.
The stereotype says it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a bloke. Sissy, they're doing all that. Who cries?
Yeah.
I'm quite past master if something really does. Yeah, but yeah, and
I believe this is a little bondage that's on men, because it's a mindset thing which has become a stronghold, and so they are fearful of seeing that I am not man enough, I am not doing the role of the man or the provider or whatever I'm supposed to be. And it becomes a lot more demoralizing if they've lost their job. They're no longer the breadwinner, the wife is doing it all, and they feel a little bit like they've been emasculated. I'm not the man here now.
Our generation is all princesses now, aren't they? No, that's just you, Zara.
So let's pray.
Yeah, but
Let's pray for our men, shall we?
Yes.
Let's pray for our men and men.